Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 RTG career mode here with Stoke City. We are back today and it's a brand new season where we're kicking off season 3 of the save, where we've made it to the Premier League, where we're going to have a budget of, where are we? Wow, 58 million to spend in the Premier League. I'll be honest, that is a lot more than what I was expecting. I was thinking maximum maybe around 30 million, but almost 60 million to spend in our first season back in the top flight. That is crazy. And as for the board objectives, let's see what they want. And it's just avoid relegation and the last 16 of the FA Cup. Well, I thought with that big budget, they might be expecting us to finish mid-table, but that's within 2 seasons, so not really fussed about any of these other objectives. Just need to avoid relegation, which is in line with my own objectives for this season. So yeah, board gifting us with almost 60 million to spend. And I've just simmed a day in the calendar as well to see any deals going through. Looks like we've got an extra bit of cash going into the transfer kitty, and that might be due to wages from players leaving the club. But let's take a quick look at the team management. Wow, this is going to be an absolute mess. Yeah, let me sort this out real quick. There we go, that's better. We've sorted out the squad, so it's still looking okay. I think we've lost a little bit of quality and depth with Phillips and Moran and Kraft going. Didn't feature too much, but just an extra body in there. But yeah, we're definitely going to need some reinforcements. I'm thinking for this first season, maybe a new centre-back, because we did still concede quite a few last year. A central defensive midfielder, a cam, and also a striker are my main sort of areas that I'm looking to improve on this season, right through the core of the team. So just to run you through the squad then here, we have lost a few players, so our numbers have gone down slightly. I'm going to be adding a few players to the transfer list, a few players to the loan list. Of course, we've got a few players who have handed in a transfer request. The main one, Jeremy Ngakia, which is actually a shame to quite like him as a backup to Issa Kabore. Going to get a few of the youngsters out on loan, and we also see James Milner will be retiring at the end of the season. We've got quite a lot of midfielders around the sort of 70, 72 overall mark. I'm not sure what's going to happen with those guys. I think Seko will probably depart, and I'm going to offer a new contract to Sol Sidibe, the young 19-year-old, as I do actually think he's got some decent potential. As I mentioned, Shaqiri hands in a transfer request, but I'm just going to keep him here until the end of the season, and we're desperate for a new number 9 as well. So lots of money to spend in the transfer market, but I'm sure that won't get us very far. And what I'm also going to do, guys, is give a few pro deals out and then look to loan these guys out. We've got some really good young talent in the youth academy. Those that are 16 or 17 years of age are going to get a pro deal and be loaned out. And I think I'm also unfortunately going to release the Canadian Sam Murphy as well, as he's not quite got the potential we hoped he would. And on that note, regarding the Youth Academy, I'm going to send my scouts out once again. You know it's going to happen. And of course, Bolton is going to be staying in England for 9 months. We have had loads of luck last year scouting defensive-based players. So this year, I'm going to go for attacking-based players from England. And for our second scout, last year we went to North America and didn't have a lot of luck. So this year, I'm thinking it's South America. And the country that I've got in mind is Ecuador. They've got some great young talent coming through in real life, the likes of Moises Caicedo, William Pacho, Piero Hincapié, and the youngster Kendry Paez as well, who's of course moving to Chelsea in a few years' time once he gets a little bit older. But yeah, gonna send a youth scout out looking for, I think I'm gonna go centre back, left back, and CDM from Ecuador. And for our final scout, I'm thinking maybe somewhere just a little bit random. We've not been to Oceania yet. And Australia and New Zealand, obviously the big ones, but I'm thinking maybe one of these sort of more lesser known countries, one of the islands, maybe Tonga. I quite like the idea of Tonga, you know. We'll send a scout out looking for, again, more attacking players from Tonga. Left wing, right wing, and striker. And that will be our 3 scouting missions for this year. England, Ecuador, and Tonga. And guys, I've got a big, long list of transfer targets for this season. But you know it's got to be done. I'm going free agent hunting. So I'll see you in about half an hour's time. Well, guys, not quite as much luck with the free agents this year as I was hoping for. We've got a few names on the short list here. Some Belgians, Divock Origi and Leander Dendoncker. And a few English lads as well. Harry Winks, former Spurs and Leicester City midfielder. Harry Clark, who's been released by Ipswich. And of course, Dele Alli, now back in the game. I'm so tempted to run it back with Dele Alli. We know how much this lad's been through. And now at 30 years of age, do we bring him back to the Premier League? Guys, I'm so tempted. I'm going to leave it for now, but I'm very tempted to bring him in. What I am going to do is bring in Harry Clark, with Ngakia likely to leave in this summer transfer window. As a backup right back without having to spend a transfer fee on him, this seems like an absolute no-brainer. So let's bring him to the club. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that signing of Harry Clark. Of course, a similar overall to Ngakia, same age as well. But he's on that rotation squad role. And he's pretty solid as well. He's quick, he's got decent stamina, and technically he's not awful as well. So as a backup to Issa Kabore down that right-hand side, with Ngakia likely to leave, I think that's a really clever piece of business to kick off the transfer window. Well, guys, I was really interested in bringing Dele Alli in, but he's gone to Cremonese, so I'm going to let him go. The stamina is really poor as well, so it would have been difficult to get him any football. But we're about a week into the transfer window, still waiting for any sort of big bids or deals to go through. I think what I'm going to try and do is clear everyone out of the club that I no longer want before we look to bring anyone else in. Well, there's our first departure of the window as 6'5" teenage giant Jordan Hansen goes out on loan to Wolfsberger for 2 years. Really excited to see how this kid develops, as he's got that potential to be special tag. Well, guys, in the background, I've been negotiating some deals, and we've just had some huge bids. Firstly, Chelsea have come in for Bilal. I'm sorry, Enzo, you've got enough goalkeepers as it is. I'm not letting the kid go anywhere. He is staying here, and I think I'm going to give him a new deal. We've also had a bid for Ngakia. I've been waiting for one with a realistic destination, so I'm going to negotiate with Burnley and try and get him there. But as for this bid for Bay, the skipper had a poor season last year. I'm really tempted to negotiate with Villa. We could get a lot of money for the South Korean. He's never really hit the heights we were hoping of him. And looking at that, we could get almost 50 million for him. I'm really not sure what to do with that bid. Well, as we see another deal going through, that is Emre Tezgel heading to Inter Miami for 2 years. And I've also decided that I'm going to turn down the bid from Aston Villa for Bay. They're playing in the Champions League, but Bay's the skipper, man. I don't want him to go. He's one of the OGs. Well, there's another deal going through. I believe that is Ngakia heading to Burnley, only with us for a year, staying in England but heading back down to the Championship to relegated Burnley. And we also see another permanent deal, Jaden Dixon heading to Turkey. Never going to make it into the first team. We've already got better youth academy players, so happy just to get him out of the door. Well, another deal going through, and it's another of the OGs leaving us, as Tatsuki Seko again heading back down to the Championship to join up with the Robins. Well, guys, a few more interesting bids here. Another for Bilal, this time from Europe, as Napoli coming in for him. But again, I'm going to reject. I'm going to offer him a new contract, and I'm going to block those offers. But this is an interesting one here for Luke Wolfenden. Of course, was released by Ipswich Town 2 years ago. We picked him up on a free, and he was pretty solid for us in our backline last season. But Brighton and Hove Albion coming in for him, a much more established Premier League club than us. I'm not going to stand in his way if he wants to move to the South Coast. Well, guys, we're about a month away from the season opener, funnily enough, against Brighton, who have come in for Wolfenden. And yeah, I think we need to start looking at bringing some players in. We've got a few players in the resis who we're still looking to move on, but it's definitely about time we start bringing in some quality to this squad. Well, guys, I'm going to go after Mohamed Diomande as my first signing of the summer transfer window. The Rangers midfielder is, I think, exactly what we're looking for through the heart of that midfield. Loads of energy, good on the ball, and great at breaking up play as well. We signed Henderson in January as sort of a short-term solution to Berger's departure, but for me, Diomande is the long-term solution. Yeah, I'm really happy to pick up Mohamed Diomande. 77 overall, so the same rating as Jordan Henderson, but I think he's 12 years younger than the Englishman and certainly the long-term solution. I love how well balanced this guy is, breaking the play up, but also going forward as well, and I think he'll be a great addition to our midfield. Well, we've got a couple of deals going through here. That is one of the young defenders, Sebastian Burns, heading out on loan for 2 years. Another defender with some real high potential. And we also see Joel Rigby, the fullback who was promoted last season, heading to the Championship for 2 years with Norwich City. I quite like that loan deal. Well, guys, around 3 weeks until the Premier League season opener against Brighton. Still waiting to see if that Wolfenden deal will go through. And I've been saying I'm going to give him a new contract, and I'm finally going to do it. As Bilal has a potential upgrade. You love to see it. Potential to be special on the kid. We need to tie him down to a new longer term contract. Give him a big wage increase as well. Bilal is going nowhere. Well, Bilal has signed a 4-year contract extension, which will see him remain at the club for the next 6 years. You love to see it. And I'm going to go ahead and spend some of that 45 million we've got left in the transfer budget. I'm looking at bringing in a new striker after we, of course, lost Hotalu to retirement. I've got quite a few names on the shortlist. And honestly, guys, I'm really torn between who to go for. I'd love to bring in Liam Delap, but I think at the moment he's a little bit out of our price range. And Ipswich have remained in the Premier League throughout the course of this save, so I'm going to keep him there. The two real names that I'm really eyeing up are Rodrigo Muniz of Fulham and Ori Oskarsson of Real Sociedad. I really like Muniz, but he's definitely the main man at Fulham, so I'd be surprised if he were to leave for a newly promoted side. But as for Oskarsson, he's got 4 experienced strikers ahead of him in the pecking order at Real Sociedad. With that Premier League money, it's the sort of signing I could see a newly promoted side making. A big money move on a new number 9 who is expected to bang in the goals in the top flight. He's a player that I've never used before. A unique profile at 6'1". He's strong and quick and very physical, and a great finisher as well. The Icelandic striker Oskarsson is the man that I'm going to go after to lead our line this season. Yeah, and what a steal that proved to be as well. Just 18.5 million. Sociedad happy to part with him with quite a long list of strikers ahead of him. We've given him a big bumper pay packet as well that makes him the highest paid player at the club. And our new number 9, the Iceman, is in up top. I'm buzzing to use this guy. There's a deal going through. I think it's going to be Luke Wolfenden. And there he goes, leaving the club. Signed as a freebie last summer and was a key component in our back four in our promotion back to the Premier League. But Brighton and Hove Albion and Fabian Hurtzler came calling. And I said, Luke, I'm not going to stand in your way. And thank you for your service getting us back to the top flight. Well, with Wolfenden gone, our budget rises to around £35 million. I've already got the replacement for Luke lined up. I've been wanting to use this guy in a save for a long time. I'm a big fan of his, and since moving to the Premier League with Fulham, he had a bit of a shaky start to his time at the club, but has gone strength to strength over the last couple of years. Was absolutely fantastic in Fulham's win over Manchester United at Old Trafford recently. He's moved on to Genoa in the save, but I'm going to say to Calvin Bassey, you've got to be playing in the Premier League. Yeah, after initially stumbling in the negotiations, Genoa did accept our bid of £19 million, and it's another expensive contract at 60 grand a week, but I think he's a really good partner for Harry Darling at the back, being naturally left-footed, and I'm buzzing to bring Calvin Bassey back to the Premier League. Well, we've got a few more of the youngsters that I'm trying to get loaned out. There goes Nicholas Groves to Peterborough United on a 2-year loan deal, and another of the youngsters going out on loan, that is Elliot Anderson, heading to Preston in the Championship for 2 years, so we'll keep an eye on his development there. Well, guys, we've got just under 2 weeks until the Premier League opener away on the South Coast, and we've got our first batch of scouting from England, Ecuador and Tonga, so let's see if there's anyone making the cut. Well, unfortunately, nobody making the cut from England this month, but we'll keep the scouting on these two lads from Ecuador, who both look pretty decent. And from Tonga, there are two lads here that we'll keep the scouting on, Honi Fomai and Akoni Liaga. Terrible names, but we'll keep the scouting on these two for now. And a very quick look at the youth academy. We've got 4 lads in here at the moment, 3 of them being 15, and then Ronnie Garrett, the 14-year-old at 4'11". He needs to start growing or he's not going to get any matches on Tinder. Well, guys, I'm going to try and do it once again and loan Ashley Phillips into the club. We're looking a little bit short on numbers, but our quality and depth has got a lot better, but he's already been here for the last 2 seasons. Why not make it a third with another loan deal with Tottenham? And we'll also see the youngster Sol Sidibe heading out on loan. I quite like the look of this lad. Not quite ready for the first team just yet, but heading to the Championship to hopefully get him some good experience at that level. Well, guys, we've made it to match day 1 of the new season, taking on Brighton and Hove Albion away on the South Coast. Really looking forward to this, our first game returning to the top flight. We've got around 15 million left in the budget, but it's not quite enough to bring in one of the players I want at the moment, so I'm just going to bide my time, hold fire for now, and we'll jump into the opening game of the campaign. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, tell you what, guys, I'm really looking forward to this first game and the spotlight on the new players to kick off the campaign. Can the likes of Oscarson and Bassey take us to that next level and ensure survival in the top flight? I honestly think this team is more than good enough. We've got great quality going forward. I'm hoping we're going to have a goal threat with Oscarson now to replace the retiring Hosselu. And yeah, I think as long as we get off to a good start and don't go into a real bad run of form at the beginning of the campaign, I think we've got enough to keep us up this season as Shaqiri finds Oscarson. What a start this will be! The Iceman! Inside the opening 10 minutes. Got to do that celebration, the Cole Palmer cold celebration as the Iceman opens his account for Stoke. Well, guys, Brighton will get us underway in the second period, still leading by 1. And to be perfectly honest, I think this Brighton side is the perfect opening game fixture for us. They've not really built on their squad like they do quite often in career mode. It's quite a weak team, to be perfectly honest. And I think this is the perfect sort of fixture. Yes, we would have liked a home game to start off with, but Brighton away, I actually think this is a really, really good fixture. And so far, we're doing our job. Kata finds Million. And Oscarson ahead of him. Nice football. I see you, Million. Can I get it to you? I can. And Million, didn't get the finish right. It's a lovely move from Stoke, but just tried to loft it over Carl Rushworth. No Johansson in goal for Brighton today. Obviously, we lost him last summer. Wolfenden's gone there this year as well. But honestly, the grass ain't always greener, lads. Brighton trying to prove us wrong here, but they've not really caused us too many issues. Simas. Into Kadioglu. And now Alvarez and Rutter. And still Rutter. Through the gap. Jorginho Rutter. And just like that, Brighton back on level terms. Well, into the final few moments. Let's not lose it, lads. The point's a decent result, and that's going to be Bilal's ball. And there is the whistle as well. As I say, a decent result on match day 1 of the new season. Away from home. Yes, we were leading. Yes, I thought we might hold on to claim all 3 points. But as I say, against a decent Brighton side, not as strong as it could be, but a decent Brighton side, that's a good point on match day 1. Well, guys, there's been very little activity in the transfer window in the week that followed that opening game. So I'm going to close out with this one here, our first home game of the campaign as we welcome Thomas Frank's Brentford side. They got absolutely battered by West Ham on match day 1, and I'm hoping we might be able to pick up our first victory of the season here in our first home game. Come on, the Potters. Burmo down the right. Oh, he skips away from Boz. There's Thiago, and Boz does well. Linton doesn't win it. Harris. Lovely football. Brilliant move, and there's no stopping that. As Igor Thiago drills in the opening goal for the Bees. Well, this is more like it, guys. Welcome to the Premier League, Stoke City. I'm really enjoying it. I know it sounds silly. We've picked up, well, potentially we're on track for 1 point from 6, but it's so much more exciting when you're having to scrap for every point as Kabore does well. And I think this season is going to be a scrap as well. If we start off the season in bad form, it could be a long wait for our first win. As Bay, is he onside? Oscarson should have scored. Bay back to Kabore, swings the cross in for Linton. It'll come for Bay, and there's Million looking to bend one, and that's another big save by the Brentford keeper. And now Kata to squeeze it through to Linton and gets a bit fortunate. There's Million back to Linton, and there's Bay, the skipper. Bay, it's not a very good save, and that could have gone anywhere as Oscarson tried to follow it in. That's brilliant from Mihaly. I thought that was going to be a foul. Ref didn't give it. Linton. Look at Million at the back post. Brings it down. Million! Oh, it bobbles just wide. Boz finds Linton. Come on, we deserve an equaliser. Oscarson on the move. It's brilliant movement. Oscarson fires over the top. And we've gone so close to an equalising goal. I think that might do it, but Stoke City are certainly going to be winning over some fans if they play like this all season long. We may not have the points to show for it at the start of the campaign, just 1 out of a possible 6. But I have to say, I'm really enjoying the start to this season. In the next episode, we're definitely going to look to bring in some reinforcements, as it's quite evident that we don't really have anyone on the bench that can change the game. And we're definitely going to need that this season. So 15 million to spend. We will certainly look to bring in some more faces before the summer transfer window closes. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed. I'll catch you for the next episode very soon. And peace.